to you today from the Southern Legend Outdoors Studio, the Be a Legend podcast, brought to you from SouthernLegendOutdoors.com. And now your hosts, Kevin Bearfield, Kerry Nelson, Ken Butler, and Mark Newell. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die. It's your time now. Be a legend.
All right, good evening and welcome to another episode of the Southern Legend Outdoors Be a Legend podcast. Coming to you again from Pontotoc, Mississippi, here at my brother-in-law Kerry Nelson's house. And, got my other brother-in-law, Ken Butler, here, our co-host. Guys, thank you for being here again tonight for another episode.
Oh, yeah.
Well, had some fine eating again tonight. Cooked more deer steak and tenderloin and potatoes
And we got some hunters in from Alabama.
Yeah.
And he what do you call that? Fireman beans? Fireman beans or something like that. He was talking about it today between the hunts. We went hunting this morning. They come in last night, and so we went to eat, and he was telling me, I was explaining to him that I'd provide them supper, here. Mm-hmm. He said, well, I'm going to make you my famous beans. I think he said fireman's beans. Yeah. And so good. They were good. So he went to Walmart, got stuff, and we fixed it this afternoon. And then we got home. I had deer steaks thawed out.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute. When you talk about deer steak, how many deer steaks? I mean, as far as I know, there was 2 big grills and they were full.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot of meat.
We had a bunch of meat. And
I'm going to say there was some left over in there.
There's some left over, and what'll happen with that, it'll find its way to breakfast and then lunch.
It'll get devoured, right?
It won't go to waste. So, but yeah, we had a good meal.
Yeah,
it's
good stuff.
Good crowd of folk.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, did you guys watch any college football this weekend?
Did.
Yeah. Ole Miss fan, there was some pretty good games and some better games.
We didn't lose.
Didn't lose. That's one good thing.
Got us a new offensive coordinator.
Yep. And new defensive coordinator.
Yep.
Probably since we've talked about football.
Yeah.
Both of them are head coaches and have been head coaches. And so.
I can't believe this happened to me, but 2 things happened this weekend, highly unexpected. For one, I forgot about the state game. I don't know. It wasn't on the radar. I was sick, actually, for about 3 days. I didn't even get to go hunting this past weekend. Come down with the bug. I was at home. April had carried the boys and my sister, and they went to watch a movie on New Year's Day. And I don't know. I was working on some stuff and just forgot about it. April called me and said, are you watching the state game? And I said, no, I forgot it was on. Can you believe that? Uh-huh. Anyway, so I turned it on. It was about 4 minutes left to play. State had the ball. And, of course, you guys saw it. I don't know. They said that State was about to score and interception.
Well, let me tell you why I would have probably watched it anyway. But I've got some good friends of ours, Brother Alan Gullett, pastors there around Fulton, Mississippi.
Big Bulldog fan.
They're big Bulldog fans, and we have a meeting with them every year right after the Egg Bowl. Yeah. The week after the Egg Bowl, we have a conference. So, like last year, it was really fun. This year, not so fun. What's funny is your daddy, Brother Ronnie Bearfield, preaches every other year.
Yep.
He wasn't there last year for the fun. He was there this year when we had to listen to him.
Oh, man.
But anyway, Brother Allen, dear friend of ours, and him and his family, and then some of his men was going to come over and hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Was going to watch the game and then go in and hunt.
Right.
I was like, well, I got a bunch of Bulldog fans at my house, and they're playing, but they're going to win this game. In your mind, when I think of Iowa football, the first thing I think of is I've never thought of Iowa football. I mean, I don't think of Iowa football, not
No.
here. And I'm sure they probably had some great teams. I just don't remember none of them. So I'm thinking, they're going to, matter of fact, I was thinking we'd go to the woods early.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be a blowout. And so it's a win for me because I got to watch a bunch of Bulldog fans yell and scream at the TV about how terrible they are. And I agreed 100% with them. But I will tell you this: they should have not gotten. Fitzgerald has threw a pass with, as you said, late in the game.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
And it has hit the kid right in the chest, bounced right in his hands. He flipped it up in the air, and the Iowa guy was in full stride, caught it, and took it back about 30 yards. Crazy. I mean, it was like game over.
You win the game.
Yeah, win the game. So.
And Fitzgerald took the heat.
Yeah, I'm telling you. He hit that
him out of
boy.
there. Glad he's out of there. I mean, he
Hit
did
him right
all
in
he
the
was
chest.
supposed to do, in my opinion.
So I thought that game, it didn't turn out like everybody thought. And then I really think that nationally wide, everybody thought that Michigan was going to take care of Florida.
Oh, man.
But
So
that didn't work out.
So that was the number 2 thing I was going to tell you.
Okay.
So the number 1 unexpected. I forgot about the state game. Didn't even watch it. The number 2 thing is, this you won't believe. I caught myself pulling for Florida. I don't know.
Wow.
I know.
His buddy Dan Mullen.
I was pulling for him. I guess I can't stand Harbaugh about as much.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot stand him. And I'm so sick of hearing about Michigan all year long. They want them to be at the top so bad. The media does.
Yeah.
And you just kind of get
He
tired.
can't win a big game.
No.
He can't win one.
No.
Who's he beat?
And I guess so. It was a little bit of personal involved with the fact that he made a little trip to Oxford
Sure.
last year.
Recruiting our players.
Recruiting our players. And
What other college coach flew down
exactly,
and did that?
Just such a lack of class to me. I don't know. Yeah, I guess the guy's trying to advance his program, get the best players he can in there.
End up the same as he always does.
Yeah.
He calls Ohio State his daddy. Because and bottom line, he could have beat Florida 1,000 points. But losing to Ohio State, either
5 years
win a
in a row.
national championship or beat Ohio State. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he can't do either. But what about this? What about this? Everybody's griping about Notre Dame
That's
and
where I was
Oklahoma.
going next.
And Georgia should have been in there, and then Georgia proves to the world they shouldn't have been in there either. And I know had they been in there, they might have played up, but they've got to play better than that to
It's the Sugar Bowl.
because.
Come
But
on.
here's the thing:
They didn't show
next year, if it happens,
They didn't show
they're
up.
going to look back at how they. I cannot believe that they did not show up no better than
They
they
did
did.
not show up.
Did you hear
It's terrible.
the lady commentator on the field was with the broadcasting crew saying during the week at practice, Kirby Smart said a bunch of starters because they act like they didn't want to be there to start
I
the
heard
week.
that.
That's
I
what
heard
she
that.
said. And during the later part of the week, they started getting fired up and like they wanted to play. But when they were first got there and started practicing, just kind of moping, going through the motion.
How you not get up for the Sugar Bowl?
No, how you don't get up for Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we have to listen to that conference and those type fans talk about, their SEC quality. All right. Well, this year, that conference has beaten SEC teams, but on that setting with Texas and Georgia, Eastern powerhouse in the SEC and a national prominent program, Texas just manhandled them. Slapped them around. And so now we got to listen to Keith Irwin.
Yeah. Gosh.
Oh, my goodness. Keith,
Did you see
shut
his
up.
dance? Did you see his dance on Facebook?
What about him and your nephew? They're going to have a fist fight at Thanksgiving one day.
I haven't seen any.
Oh, you
Has
need to
there
go.
been an exchange?
Wesley and Keith, y'all are Christians. One of you is a pastor, and the other one is not. You're a singer. And y'all are having Twitter wars out there over SEC. And what is Texas in? ACC?
don't know.
Big Eastern,
I thought they were
Big
doing
Ten,
their own thing
Pac.
or something.
Big Eastern ship.
They're out there with Notre Dame. They're their own, man.
Yeah,
I'm just picking at you, Keith.
Shipley.
I will say this though: they are
you'll get
prime
something on
time entertainment.
Yeah.
When you watch them on Twitter, they go at it. They act like they don't love one another.
Oh, you're catching it from Keith on this.
Yeah, I know it.
You
He knows
it's
I love
coming.
him. And here's the thing: I will acknowledge that wasn't the referees, that wasn't the climate, that wasn't nothing but an old fashioned backside whipping.
They got
It was a
blown
butt
off the
whooping.
ball both sides.
Yeah.
Well, they just two things to make happen. Georgia did not show up to play at all, and Tennessee, or excuse me,
Now you're in trouble with you, Tennessee.
Texas showed up trying to prove a point that they were going to beat a powerhouse.
And they proved their point.
Yeah.
From
And-
that
and
game,
Georgia-
Texas should have been in the playoffs. I mean, from the two playoff games, Oklahoma and Notre Dame should not have been. So what do? You know, is Alabama and Clemson that far ahead of everybody?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No.
But for those games,
It makes it look.
yeah. But for those games, those two coaches are way ahead of
You
everybody.
see with the tickets, you can get tickets this year for $135 to national championship game.
Really?
Everybody's tired of seeing the two play, and the tickets have plummeted,
Wow.
gone down. This time last year, I think they said they were going from $3,500 to $5,000. Some tickets are going now $135 a ticket.
That's
People
funny.
lost interest
Yeah.
Yeah.
in it.
I don't know, man.
Well, what do y'all think about it?
Well,
I hope Clemson beats them up and down the other side of each other.
yeah. I mean,
I just don't see no
I
way.
like
they can get it.
Dabo. I don't ever wish for him to lose because he's such a. I mean, he's a
Straight up
winner,
guy.
and he's a straight up guy. He's a devout Christian. What's not to like about Dabo?
We had
Runs
one of
it
them
in.
one time, didn't we?
Yeah.
Straight up guy, winner,
okay.
devout
Yeah,
Christian.
yeah.
I'm leaving that alone.
But I think I'm a winner either way. If Alabama wins, SEC wins. If Clemson wins, Alabama got beat. So that's
Well, you remember now, he won 3 or 4 games his first year at Clemson. Second year, he won 6 to 7. The next year, he won 3 to 4 or 5 games, somewhere in there. They was trying to kick him out as far as they could kick him.
I know it.
He survived the first, and then that fourth year,
it kicked
it's
in.
history.
Yeah.
9, 10, 10, 11 wins.
Well, what do you predict?
I think Alabama beat them 10 plus. That's what I think.
I think they're going to move the ball on Alabama at will.
Well,
Alabama showed me
Alabama
they
got
can-
sluggish at the end of that
Alabama
game.
showed me.
I don't know if
They're going to miss 3 players, and
Yeah.
Clemson's going to be missing 2 or 3.
I don't know. Do you think that was a good thing for them to kind of, they were struggling at the end. Boy, Saban, he was livid, man. He was mad.
Yeah.
I bet those boys.
had a lot of
I bet he
mistakes.
lights a fire. I
Lot
bet
of-
he's lighting a fire right now.
Let me ask y'all something. I'm usually the one that says stuff like this on this podcast. Let me ask you this. In the Georgia game, SEC championship game, Georgia started coming back, and it's almost like Alabama just went out there and went, okay, let's put up 7 and extend this lead.
They did the same
They
thing.
did the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, I am not saying by no means the games are rigged because there ain't no Oklahoma player out there wants to lose to Alabama. So I'm not saying that. What I'm saying about this is it almost looks like Alabama does what they want to do. I believe Nick Saban don't want blowouts because the last thing he wants, and he said that his own mouth, he does not want an 18 playoff 4. He still thinks it ought to be 2. 1 game.
Yeah.
He said that. And I'm telling you, I believe that they let them hang around what they did, and then because every time they would make, you think, they back in the game. 2 plays later, Alabama have a touchdown. It's almost like playing some kind of game. He'd say to the quarterback, "Oh, all right, go ahead and 7."
Yeah, exactly.
It's.
Oklahoma
I know it's
scored.
probably not as simple as I'm making it, but it's funny, man.
It
That
looks-
anytime
it
they
looks
get
that way.
close, they look bad on the first series or the series. They go 3 and out, or maybe they get 1 first time. Then when Oklahoma gets within 10, he's like, "Oh no, that's a little too close. Need to go ahead and get 7. Let's do it. Let's go 3 plays this time." Okay.
He does a good job of selling it too.
Oh man, it is just fun. They really are head and shoulders above, and we can dissect it all we want to, but they are good. I don't think Clemson. I don't even think this year will be like the last several with being close. That's just me, and I just don't think they will. I believe Saban.
I'm saying Clemson by 5.
Clemson by 5. All right.
Bama by 10.
I'm going to say Bama by somewhere in between. I think it's going to be less than 10, but
More than 5.
Clemson won't win.
I hope Clemson wins. I don't think it's going to be. I'm going out on a limb saying this.
I think it's going to be tight.
I'm saying Clemson by 5 is going out on a big limb. Y'all understand that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. But I just don't want Alabama to win anything. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
Well, what you want, what's
with
going to
you.
happen is probably going to be 2 different.
I know. We can
Well,
praise
they're
them a little
good.
bit, can't we?
Yeah.
The last thing, I guess before we move on, but when are they going to figure out that until you have earned the right to be there by beating someone legitimate, Notre Dame, I mean, have you ever seen a team?
I wouldn't let them get back into the joint
keep
conference.
doing this?
They'd have to join the Power 5 conference.
Why do they do that?
All right, question. While we're here, because I got to bring it
was
up.
a joke.
Yeah, I know.
If you can get in without playing a conference
I'd
championship,
rather seen Ohio State there.
but if you can get in without playing a championship game in your conference, if you can get in without having to play it, you should not be kept out by playing it.
Right.
Well, that's true.
Think about it. So in the reality, Georgia, Alabama, Notre Dame, and Clemson should have been in. If you're going to punish a team for playing that extra game and reward a team that don't play it, that's a double standard.
It is.
Either they have to get in a conference and play, because everybody played. Clemson played, Bama played,
Every Power 5 team
Oklahoma played, Ohio State played. Am I right about that? Yeah, they all played. How in the that is if there ain't another form of favoritism and hypocrisy.
Oh, I know.
You don't play. So my point is, if you're not going to make them get in a conference to where they have to play a championship game, then when the season's over, that's your top 4 teams. I mean, it's got to be.
Yeah.
Can't penalize Georgia for getting beat by the number 1 team when the number 3 team didn't even play in a championship. That's my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Georgia would have, had they had the option, elected to just forego the championship game so that they could get in the national championship.
Right.
Well, why wouldn't you?
Just say, hey, we're not going to play the championship game because it's going to keep us from having a chance at getting a national
Kind of like not
championship.
taking the final exam. We'd
We'd rather play them on the
enough.
national championship stage than the conference championship stage.
Well, ain't that what Notre Dame's saying? We're not going to join a conference, so we're not going to play. They didn't tell the NCAA telling them what to do. They're telling them what they're going to do.
They get to study and tailor their schedule for each season, knowing that they're going to beat some name teams, but not powerhouse teams, and position themselves. That's like
UCF, same way.
That's
Not quite the
exactly what I was
schedule.
going to.
Not quite
It's
the
Central
schedule.
Florida playing LSU, and go back and look at their schedule. April was like, "What? They're number 8 and LSU's 11." I said, "Yeah," and she said, well, "Who did they beat?" I said, "Yeah, it's a good point. Let me pull it up." I pulled it up on the phone. They beat one ranked team all year long. It was Louisville, when they were ranked 24th.
Yeah, that's early.
When they were ranked 24th, about mid-season.
Yeah.
But one ranked team that was 24th. That's the only team. And Memphis carried them down to the wire both times
Sure
they played
did,
them.
yeah.
In the regular season, it was only like a 1 or 2 point win.
It was a high scoring game. One of them.
But both of them were, and almost beat them in the conference championship game.
Just cause they don't have any losses. Playing a week schedule. Put
Man,
the
they
computer.
got-
The
they got
computer puts them in there for that.
They got to quit this stuff, man.
Yeah, I know it.
It's stupid. That's ridiculous.
I'm with you, but I'm back to Notre Dame. Notre Dame should not get in any consideration
No.
till they have to play on the same playing field as everybody else.
Well,
You
what about
gotta be in the
Texas? What if Texas does it next year?
So I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, here's another thing. You're playing one less game, and how many teams play another championship game and have injuries to go back in to play? You see what I'm saying?
You're playing one less game, and you're also playing one less, probably the most difficult game on your schedule.
You're not playing probably the best team on your schedule.
Yeah.
Possibly. Because Alabama didn't play Georgia in the regular season, had to play them in the championship.
Yeah, you ought to be in a power conference, and there ought to be mandatory championship games if they're going to do it that way.
If you're going to penalize one for losing, you can't reward the other one for not playing. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
That's right.
Notre Dame should have never been there. Whether Georgia should have been there or not, Notre Dame.
I will say this because they mocked Jesus with that touchdown Jesus stuff. But I will say this: somebody did have a funny thing. They said that now it's field goal Jesus because they ain't scored a touchdown several weeks. So, I mean, they didn't impress nobody.
Well, Kerry, you've been hosting some youth hunts lately. Tell us a little bit about how that's been going.
Well, one thing we do at By His Grace Outdoors is we've never charged for a hunt ever, and Lord willing, we will never. But we give a lot of hunts away, and when I find a cause that I feel is worthy, they're raising money for something, I'll give a hunt. They can auction it off, and they get all the money.
Yeah.
So this young man got a hunt, something we helped with in Alabama, and so they came in late last night, and we hunted this morning. Didn't really see much this morning, and this little boy has never killed a deer. His name's Noah. Never killed a deer, and so I had a youth hunter on some other property, and his dad and Eli was with Noah and his daddy Billy, and it's right at dusk where there's really not much camera light.
This afternoon.
Yep. You just got a little bit of scope left,
Eli had already shut the camera down, hadn't he?
Well, he kept it rolling, but you couldn't. You could zoom out and you had daylight, but you know how it is when you crop in down a lane.
Yeah.
And then it was a little buck had come out eating in the food plot, and he dropped it in his tracks, his first deer, man.
How about that?
When I pulled up, he had the blood on his face and pumping his fist. And
that's awesome.
So they're excited, but they're here for a 2-day hunt. That's what he got, and so we'll take them tomorrow.
Yeah, well, that's good.
So
very rewarding to get to see a kid get his first deer.
He'll never forget.
We've all got to experience that this year.
Mm-hmm.
We've all been at this point been in the stand with a kid getting to kill their first deer. That's great. And just want to reemphasize, that's what this is all about. We were sitting here tonight talking about, I don't know how we'd gotten started on it, but we were just talking about several young people, and we've all three of us have been involved in working with young people professionally. Of course, Kerry, you're a pastor. You deal with your youth in your church. Ken is coached and has a daughter that's in college and has coached youth softball all these years and worked with kids and travel ball. And then I've coached the college ball, and Kerry and I coached college ball together for 4 years, and 5 years, yep. And we, had the opportunity to spend around these kids, and we were talking today about, some kids that have made some decisions, that's not what we would like to see them doing, some bad decisions, just to come down and say it. And I know that's why we all try to invest our time in these kids, to show them that, make good decisions in life. You don't have to, you can go out. There are things you can do to enjoy life. You can have fun. You can go out and, spend time in the outdoors. And, I know that's what each one of you guys are trying to do as well, Kerry. I know that's what you're trying to do with your youth hunts, to emphasize and not just help a kid get his first deer, but help him to understand some things about life and about the decisions that he makes. And So, I mean, I appreciate you doing that. And I'm sure there are a lot of experiences you can share about that, stories that's been told in the stand, But that's, part of what we're trying to do here is help young people understand that. And I think we want to do everything we can. I mean, we're open. We want other people to get involved and help us to help get our young people moving in the right direction, and to understand that at the end of the day, life is about choices. It's about the choices that we make.
Yep.
Good choices, bad choices. They all have, they all have consequences to their actions. So, Kerry, I appreciate you doing what you're doing.
I appreciate you mentioning that. The daddy, talking about the memories, the daddy says to me at supper that his son Noah, this hunt was given away. He bought it for this church that was having a youth fundraiser. He bought it in April, and he said his son, April of last year, of 18.
Mm-hmm.
He said there's no telling how many times he said, I can't wait to get me a big Mississippi buck. Now, he lives in Alabama, and they got huge deer over there. But in his mind, just the whole process of this is life. It's a memory for him.
Yeah.
So then he comes to Mississippi, and he gets his big buck. All right? And guess what it is? A little old bitty buck. But he's walking around my house with his chest
Swole
out.
up.
And he says to his granddaddy who's here, who we let them come on in and hunt too, so they could enjoy it with the grandson. This is what he says to him. He says, I'll hunt with you tomorrow, and if a good one comes out, I'll let you shoot. He says to his granddaddy, who's no telling how many deer he's killed.
Yeah.
But now he's went from a little kid, never killed a deer, that wants to kill deer. He's killed a little bitty buck, and he's like all of us hunters. He knows everything about hunting. So that's the part of it, man.
Yeah,
that's the part. Just making the memory, and he made the memory with the thing that this podcast has been about ever since first. Be a legend. You talked about your father, your grandfather. You talked about your father, and I talked about my father. And we go through all of these things about our raising and looking up to people. Here's a little boy that got to be with his daddy, his brother, and his granddaddy when he killed his first deer.
Yeah.
He'll never forget it.
No.
Yeah.
That's worth every hour that we've spent, every dime.
That's right.
We can't emphasize to say to daddies, don't miss that opportunity.
Don't miss it.
And a lot of days are missing that opportunity
They
that
are.
could be putting forth that enjoy the outdoors. Don't take their kid.
I know. I
There's
just
a
don't.
lot of them out there, man.
I don't understand
Right, Kerry?
that.
No, there are.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine going out. I have to work mow sometimes to get him out there.
Yeah.
I have
you
to
get 'em
motivate
out
him.
there.
But
You know what you got to do.
yeah, once I get him in the stand, I mean, there are a lot of
It's because you didn't have a girl trying to get her out.
Well, our world is so crazy. If we're sitting at the house, what's happening? We're either on our phones or we're watching TV. I mean, or just I'm working or doing something. The only place I can get, for the most part, and get my mind off of everything and get broke away from everything is if I can get in that deer stand or get in that duck blind, and it's just me and him and the Lord,
Yeah.
And
All right,
I don't know,
let
man.
me.
You just can't put you can't put a dollar value on that.
You brought it up, so I'll tell you something else happened today. I took a dear friend of all of ours, Ken and him have coached together, and you've known him for years. He was with me when I preached my first sermon. 14-year-old, his daddy let him ride with me. I was 18. Brother Jeff Harmon.
Yeah.
So Brother Jeff's boy is just like another son to me.
Yeah.
And so Jack, as y'all know, has a history with a 6-point on one of our properties. This is the third year he's hunted him, and he's already missed him 3 times.
Yeah.
So we finally got some more pictures of him. So we was trying to take him back over there to get him. But Jeff pastors full-time. He's a full-time teacher. He is an assistant basketball coach and a head baseball coach. All right. every time we've tried to hunt, we got practice, got game. You know, this, and the kid has grew up. Jack's grew up. Now he's involved in a few Saturday activities, so he can't go. All right. Well, today was finally the day that they could go. So they come this morning, had to leave to go to practice, come back this evening, and right before dark, he says to me, Brother Jeff, the father, he said, "Bro, I needed this. I needed this." So, you know, you're sitting there. We're sitting in a brand new. We built that brand new 8x8 over there where we were hunting. You're sitting on this food plot. You've done all this work, and just for that afternoon, here's a guy that just needed to get out of the the rushings of life.
Sure.
Sit down with his boy. They were laughing, and I just sit back. Of course, my shooting house is big enough I could do it. I put them in the front, and I sit in the back, and just listening to them. And then he looks at me and he said, "You don't know how much I needed this." So, you know, for people out there that can do what we're doing, whether you help somebody like us, pitch in and help or whatever, if you can do this, you know, if you can open up your property and just take people and give people,
just give them a chance.
Give them a chance
to get out there.
To get out there,
spend time with the kid. Yeah.
I promise you.
Well, every one of us knows
they'll be
somebody
rewarded.
that doesn't have an opportunity or doesn't have that chance that we could go up to and say, and I'm guilty of it. I mean, right now as I start thinking, people start coming to my mind.
Yep.
I'm thinking, man, I need to offer that to them. And everybody that can do that, and there's a lot of people out there could do even more than what you're doing and what we could do. But I think just creating an awareness and talking about that, because look, man, I'm sorry, I'm sitting here looking at a TV screen in here. There ain't nothing on TV that's worth a flip.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, ain't nothing. I mean, outside we love sports, we watch sport. You cannot sit down and watch a good family movie anymore. Now I get my dose of Hallmark. I'm so sick. I'm telling you what. What was it the guy said about his wife and the Hallmark Channel the other day when he was talking about Christmas? What was it? I don't know.
I just know
some guy was talking about
Hallmark.
Christmas.
I just know there's going to be a gazebo, snow, and two people in their 30s that for some reasons never found love get married. I've never figured that out, and they're going to do it in a Christmas
one kiss
time.
at the end. It's over.
Yeah, they're going to, and there's usually going to be some old lady that's going to tell them about love.
Yeah,
and Santa Claus in the mix somewhere in there.
But outside of that, I mean, there's nothing. You know, my dad, not what my dad grew up being able to watch on TV, and I grew up still watching, Andy Griffith. I mean,
I watch it every at 6:30 on Channel 4. If I'm at home, that's what's on our TV. And when this goes off, I'm done.
That's what I grew up watching on TV with my dad was Andy Griffith, and but that's not what our kids.
No.
And so I'm fighting that with my boys as young as they are. And we do. We love Star Wars. The boys do, and I guess there's that.
How's the cardboard cutout coming, by the way?
Oh man, it's great.
Uncle Kerry the Great.
Oh yeah,
provided a
Darth Vader stand up
that had a motion activated voice recorder. When you walk in front of it, he says things to you.
It's awesome. Oh, Jack's got his spot in his room where the Darth Vader stand-up's going to go. So
there you go.
In our new place when we get moved, so he's pretty excited.
You do have
about
me and
that.
Ken a spot. No?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
We'll come.
But it's just something special about being able to get out there with your kids, and we've all experienced that. But we just want to encourage guys to do that. Don't take that for granted. Take the opportunity. It is, and hey, hunting may not be your thing. It may be fishing. It may be something else. But the point is, spend some quality time with our kids where there are no distractions. There's nothing pulling us away.
Can I tell a story?
Yeah.
Real quick. Last weekend, last Friday, the first of the year, you'll remember I did a handicap hunt. We had like 6 wheelchair people come in, and we took them hunt with Hope Outdoors. Opie Thomas with Hope Outdoors brought some track chairs and helped us. And he had made mention that they were trying to start a chapter in New Albany and wanted to know would I help that weekend. They needed land to hunt on. And I'm like, listen, I've been there. I know all about not having land.
Yeah.
And he said, would you take 2 of the people? I said, man, I will be glad to take 2. They were going to be kids. So anyway, a week ago tonight, I went over to the meeting there at New Albany, met the people in charge, met my hunters, got our time set up. Eli took one young man, Scooter. He took him and put him in a shooting house. And then I took a young guy by the name of KJ Fields and hunting, who actually was on Good Morning America today. They aired his story today on Good Morning America. It's really awesome. You can go online.
Yeah.
But KJ was hit by a car when he was 6-year-old on a go-kart. He has spinal injury, but he plays competitive basketball from that wheelchair. Travels. It's a really interesting story. So I had KJ and his daddy Kelvin.
Yeah.
And shout out to Kelvin, big Southern Miss fan. And we both agree we do not like maroon. But anyway, that's another story. So anyway, you was talking about making memories. And we went hunting that Friday, and Mr. Jimmy Hall took a young boy by the name of AJ. And AJ killed his first deer, killed him a 6-point, really nice. We come out, we eat, get pictures. You know how you do.
Yeah.
Go back in that evening, come back out the next morning. On the way back in, Mr. Jimmy and AJ have a wreck. Mr. Jimmy's killed. AJ's airlifted to Lebanon.
Yes.
And Mr. Jimmy's funeral was today. And, you know, when you talk about making memories, James said in the Bible, we don't know what's going to be on tomorrow. Life's like a vapor. Don't say I'm going to do this or that. You better say if the Lord will, I'll do this or that.
True.
And I was thinking all week, thinking about the Hall family, and we do want to pray for them.
Yeah.
Mr. Jimmy's wife, Miss Hall, and their son David, and their daughters. We want to pray for them.
Yeah.
But here, you know, here back to the thing though. That is a tragic memory on Saturday morning, but it's a joyful memory on Friday morning. There he was, with that boy for his first kill.
Yeah.
And all he was doing is making memory. All he was doing, 70-year-old, just turned 70 on Thursday, took the kid hunting on Friday. You are not too old to invest time.
That's right.
And give back.
Yeah.
And I didn't know Mr. Jimmy well outside of just meeting him, high-fiving him at the store when they come out with a deer. But from all accounts and just reading about him and listening to people talk, upstanding, fine man, retired, long-time factory worker, retired, and his family loved him. And so I'm encouraging everybody to be reminded that you don't have time to make memories. You have to make time to make memories.
That's right.
And what I mean by that is you got to do it today.
You got to make it happen.
Because we may not can do it tomorrow.
That's true.
And boy, it's just it's a shock. I mean, I'm still in shock that that it happened. It happened during one of our hunts. But man, what a contribution he was making at even 70. He wasn't like, I'm too old, y'all go on. He was right there in the middle of them kids.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Little AJ was born with some disabilities, and it's just amazing that his life ended trying to make memories for somebody.
His life ended making an impact on
Making an
somebody.
impact.
Within
And
a 24-hour period.
Yes.
He made a huge impact in that kid's life.
And made an impact in my life to make sure we live it to the fullest.
Yeah.
You know,
Don't take it for granted.
don't take it for granted. David, if y'all listen, man, we're praying for y'all.
Yeah.
It's your time now. Be a legend.